What's going on? It's your boy Sermon at Sermon's Domain on Twitter. Adele is back with her third album titled 25. Um, Before anybody questions it, I realize Adele's not hip hop, but her influence in hip hop is very strong. Um, you've had a lot of artists sample her songs, including like Hometown. Um, so there's that connection, and then the fact that a lot of the people that I follow on Twitter are Adele fans, and they're big hip hop fans, but they're also Adele fans. So it kind of just fits, I guess, like a puzzle. With that said, 25 is a really good album. I think that her voice is phenomenal. I've only kind of dabbled into her material in the past. I wasn't like overly crazy about 19 and 21. And maybe it was just, I don't know, maybe it just wasn't the right time for me to dive into them. But the fact that 21 went diamond is incredible because nobody is doing that in the last 5 years. So her doing that is enough to turn so many heads, and in tune with that puts a lot of pressure on the artist. Adele, I couldn't even imagine the type of pressure that she had to follow up that album. Um, you know this album's gonna sell well. It's already projected to do like over 2 million first week, but more so than that, it's a quality body of work. I feel like her voice is phenomenal. The songwriting, it really like hits the emotions hard, and I think that's one of the things that 21 covered very well. You want to connect with your audience, and when you have such a good voice as she does and the songwriting ability, you put those two together, that is a deadly combination. I know people make, the jokes like, after you listen to an Adele album, call your ex and start apologizing for stuff you didn't even do. And, even though it's funny to say, it's also kind of accurate when you think about it. Like, that's the type of music that she puts out. Like, when people heard Hello, that's a song that you definitely would like, hit somebody up after. Um, but overall, I feel like it's a strong body of work. Some of my other favorites were When We Were Young, All I Ask. I like Sweetest Devotion. I Miss You. I Miss You might be my favorite. I just love that hook a lot. Um, but the one thing that I didn't like about the album, and maybe I don't know if I can really say this because I'm not a huge Adele fan, but I feel like she played it safe. You know, I've seen other people talk about how this album, kind of sounds similar to 21 in terms of like the subject matter, and I get that and all, and I don't know. Like I said, it's a great body of work. Not to take away from that, but I feel like she did definitely play it safe. She didn't like experiment. She didn't step out of her comfort zone per se. And she hasn't worked with like any artist. I think she had one collaboration, if that. That's something that I would have loved to have seen too, because it's just a part of like most artists' careers. Like there really hasn't been an artist that functions like Adele does. She hasn't toured as much. She doesn't work with other artists. So I don't know. I would love to have seen some features, and I would love to have seen a little more experimental side to it. Maybe her next album will kind of do that, or even if she doesn't do that, maybe she can kind of hint at it, I guess. Like, how artists throw out loose singles all the time. Adele doesn't do that. She just came back with this album, but maybe leading up to the next album, if she's gonna experiment, try something new, it's always cool to throw out like a single and see what the people think about it. Um, I think it'd be interesting to see. But overall, the album is great. It's gonna sell well. It's going to the biggest first week of the year. It's shattered records already. It's gonna break more records. So definitely go buy Adele's album for sure, of course. You know, you're going to get a quality body of work. And three questions. So, are you satisfied with Adele's 25? Simple question. Second, do you think this album is ultimately going to sell more than her last? Um, I didn't look up first week sales for 21, but considering that I think it's 11 million, just U.S. wise. I think it's like over 30 million worldwide, but just U.S. wise, from looking at it, I think she definitely has a strong. Uh, she can strongly sell more because if she's gonna do at least 2 million first week for 25, you got to factor in there's only one single out there, one video, and when ultimately I'm sure she's gonna put more singles out, so that's gonna continue to push. She's gonna continue to sell records for a long time. So I definitely feel like she can definitely pass the diamond mark with this album. But the pressure for Adele, I couldn't even imagine being in that position. She's connecting with fans worldwide, millions of fans worldwide, and she's selling like this is the 90s. For that reason, creating like a body of work must have been challenging. I remember she talked about how at one point she was going to make an album based around her kid, and then she said it didn't sound interesting, I guess, so she scraped it. But it would have been good to see something like that on the album. But anyway, she overcame the challenge of creating, a strong follow up. 25 is a very emotional album that's already, going to sell millions, and is going to provide a soundtrack for a generation of people that are facing similar problems. And when it boils all down to it, that's the goal, and Adele achieved that. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and then like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, share the video, follow me on Twitter at Sermons Domain, and as always, thank you for watching. I appreciate your time, and until next time, peace.